Hi, Limit Break Overdrive with a build update for my Boneshatter Jugg, the build that I made at league start. This is gonna be a short video. There's not much really to update. I followed the guide pretty much to the letter, and yeah, I was surprised because I'm pretty satisfied. I did everything I wanted to do and even more. So I basically followed the guide. I went with the Hunter chest with Trickle Strike chance, as well as a shit ton of life and armor. Armor could be higher, but it's harder to craft this league without recombinators or Reforge keeps suffixes or prefixes from harvest. So I was expecting to use that, but we can't, so it's slightly harder. My axe is close to 700 PDPS, so it could be improved as well, but again, harder and no crit in the suffixes. But yeah, I've got tier 3 attack speed and good fizz roll. It's enough, it's good enough. Helmet, I went with fizz damage taken recoups his life and mana reservation, both on the helmet and the implicit, as in the guide. Some int to be able to use Assassin's Mark. The amulet, crit chance, I got lucky. I got one with fractured mod on it, so I got crit multi using essences until I had other good mods. I crafted life. Life could be better, but yeah, again, it's good enough. My rings, basically getting resistances, damage. Like this one I got minimum power charge and minus mana cost, because mana is somewhat of a problem, but with 12 mana cost it's fine. Also, I'm using life tap for my mark, and that's pretty much it. I don't need to use it for Leap Slam because it's 3 mana cost, so that's fine. Gloves, I win with chance to maim on hit and crit chance. You could get other things as shown in the build guide, but I mean, I was probably needing more of the currency, so I stopped there. And the boots, I've got action speed, and this is a slight change. I said that Tailwind boots were better, but I think this is better, because Tailwind gives you 8% increased attack speed all the time. And this gives me 6% against unique enemies, and we don't really need the action speed while mapping. We have enough damage, so... And this can be improved with the norm of conflict. So I'd say this is better because again I get life regen per endurance charge, which I've got 6 endurance charges, so 1.2% life regen. And the boots are easier to craft this way because you don't have to keep the suffix as Tailwind. So I think boots with Eldritch implicits are better, even though I said the opposite in the guide. And you could get something else than regen. However, I think Tailwind boots are better if you have Awakener Orb, because you can get a Warlord boot with maximum endurance charge and Tailwind on Hunter boots. You combine two. These two stats I think would benefit you more than this, but even still this is enough. Again, resistances, life, I got armor, even better. Gloves, shield, rings, it's pretty much the gear. And the thing you need to do with the flasks is gaining a flask charge when you do a critical strike. I got pretty good rolls on the flasks. I'm just gonna show them, but it's again in the guide. I just decided to use a sulfur flask instead of a silver flask, which would still be fine for onslaught, but consecrated ground gives us even more life regen, so all in all I think I prefer that. Now let's switch to the POE because there's a slight change in the POE. So the changes I made are pretty simple, and the reason I made them is because I am level 95. I stop all build guides at level 93 or 116 points if you kill all bandits. The reason is I don't like people that make guides to level 100 with like a bunch of uniques and hard to get gears, because I aim my guides towards SSF play. So I mean, if you can get level 95, 96, 97, you're probably gonna figure out by yourself what point you can get. And I switched to Cluster Duel thanks to these 2 points. I respect out of them. I sacrificed the 4% life node here, and the leech nodes but then I get leech on the cluster jewel as well as more damage. And it's an 8 passive, the minimum passives, because otherwise I would not have been able to switch. So I get attack speed, I get life leech. I still need to get mana leech on a jewel or on a piece of gear. In my case, I think it's on my gloves. Right? No, it's not. Where is it? A ring? Yeah, on a ring. So I did not have to bother to get it elsewhere. So with that, I get Feed the Fury, Martial Prowess. There's another stat that would have been better than this one, so I did not expect Drive Destruction. It's only 62,000 damage. But then, the main reason is the jewel sockets. This jewel, even with 3 good stats instead of 4, gives me 300,000 damage. This one gives me 325,000 damage. Just for these 2 jewels, I get 600,000 damage, which is pretty great. This jewel is also great, 337,000, and this one 300,000. So my jewels are giving me like 1.2 mil. And with Calling Strike, of course, so I'm at 4.4 million damage so far with maximum resistances, armor and whatnot. So I could get more armor slightly, but as I said, the chest was harder to craft than I expected since we don't have Reforged Key prefixes and suffixes, and I'm in SSF, so I've got limited currency. So these are pretty much the changes I did. I think I spec'd out of these nodes as well, but they're not as much damage as the jewels, so if you don't take that into account, then at level 93 I would not have changed anything. I would have stick to the build guide, specifically the one with Hunter chest, because there's different build gear sets. It's not the really expensive one, it's the mill one, like advanced endgame or whatnot. So these are pretty much the only thing I change, and yeah, pretty satisfied so far. Now I'm trying to level up a duelist to play with Cleave, because I dropped the Knowledge of Prizing with Pride Reservation, so might as well try to use it. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a video about that, only if it's really good, which I doubt, because it's not a great skill. So now I'm gonna leave you with a clip of me killing the Twisted, just so you get a little bit of gameplay. So thanks for watching, hopefully you liked the build. Let me know in the comments if you've played the build, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would like to see me change in my guides in the future. I'm all open for the feedback, so thanks again for watching, and I'm gonna see you next time. Alright, so this was what I was supposed to do. One down, and this guy needs to go. Because he's slowing me the fuck down. Alright. 3 down, 1 more. It's the one that does the most damage, but he's alone, so. No, I wouldn't say it's letting me down. It's just really difficult. These are 4, not endgame bosses, but you need to kill these to fight endgame bosses, so